combustion engine, and when combustion of the fuel combustion of the fuel takes place inside the cylinder. It is called as when combustion of the fuel takes place inside the cylinder. It is called as internal combustion engine. It is known as internal combustion engine. In short, it is called as a IC engine. So it is explained that in internal combustion engine, in this type of engine, the combustion of the fuel takes place outside the cylinder. Such type of engine is called as external combustion engine. Steam engine. Steam engine is an example of external combustion engine. In steam engine, coal is used as the fuel, and the burning of that coal takes place outside the cylinder. That's why it is called as an external combustion engine. Coal is burned in the furnace to boil the water in the boiler, which generates the steam, and then the steam thus generated is used to run the engine. त्याला आपण जेम्स वॅटनं जे वाफेचं इंजिन जे काढलं त्याला ते आपण म्हणतो की स्टीम इंजिन. Okay, so by using that steam, the engine is run. Such type of engine is actually external combustion engine. Now these types of engines has become obsolete, means it is not used nowadays because of their very huge size. Size is more heavyweight, unsafe due to fear of blasting, and less thermal efficiency. Thermal efficiency is just about 20%. Okay, just wait, someone is waiting. Thermal efficiency is just thermal efficiency is just 20%. Okay, its thermal efficiency is just 20%. Okay, so the thermal efficiency is just 20%, so it is not used nowadays. Internal combustion engine, in short, it is called as a IC engine. In this type of engines, the combustion of fuel takes place inside the cylinder itself. All modern vehicles uses internal combustion engine due to smaller size, compact design, and safe and better thermal efficiency is better. Approximately thermal efficiency is 35%. That's why IC engine or internal combustion engines are used. So heat engine, there is classification of the heat engine. We will see the classification of the heat engine: external combustion engine, internal combustion engine. Internal combustion engine is again classified as Wankel, reciprocating type, rotary, gas turbine. We are going to study only the reciprocating engine, this type. Don't get confused, or not necessary this Wankel type or rotary gas turbine. Just concentrate on reciprocating type internal combustion engine. So it is again classified as spark ignition engine, and again the second type is the compression ignition engine. Spark ignition engine, it is a petrol engine. In short, it is called as a SI engine. Compression ignition engine is, in short, it is called as a CI engine, and it is a diesel engine. Spark ignition means petrol engine is also of two types: two-stroke engine, four-stroke engine, and compression ignition engine also of two types: two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. So how this engine works? It may be a four-stroke engine or two-stroke engine. It may be a petrol engine or diesel engine. How it works? Principle and working of internal combustion engine or IC engine. Principle: a mixture of fuel with correct amount of air is exploded in an engine cylinder. If you see this figure, just see this figure. You see this. This is actually your, this block is about. This is cylinder. This is cylinder. There are two cylinders in that figure, and the piston. This is the piston. Reciprocating. Why it is called as a reciprocating engine? Because there is upward and downward movement of the piston. You can see the, you can see that The piston moves to TDC to be that terms we will see later. But this component is a piston which moves upward and downward. This is the piston. This part is called as a connecting rod. This is called as a connecting rod. This is called as a connecting rod. This is your crankshaft. This is the crankshaft and camshaft. Spark plug is also provided in case of a petrol engine. Say compressed air and fuel, because when the piston is downward, when the piston moves upward, here the fuel and air mixture gets compressed. Fuel and air mixture. This component is actually inlet valve. Second valve is exhaust valve. This is the inlet valve and this is the exhaust valve. Okay. Spark plug is provided in case of petrol engine. There is no spark plug required in diesel engine. Say the mixture of fuel with correct amount of air is exploded. Exploded means combusted or burned in the engine cylinder, in this cylinder. So I just tell you some components of that. This is whole part is the cylinder. This is piston. This is connecting rod. This is connecting rod. This is camshaft. This is crankshaft. Okay. There is spark plug is there. This wall is called as inlet wall. This is called as a exhaust wall. This is a inlet wall. This is exhaust wall. So as a result of the explosion, when air and fuel mixture, when air and fuel mixture is exploded, when air and fuel mixture gets exploded inside the cylinder, so we can see that power is generated. The power is generated inside the cylinder. Just now see the principle of working or general principle of working of IC engine. As a result of explosion or combustion of air and fuel mixture inside the cylinder, heat is released and this causes the increase in the pressure of burning gases. So, when the combustion of air and fuel mixture takes place inside the cylinder, a large amount of heat is produced. Large amount of heat is produced inside the cylinder, and it causes, you can say, high pressure. It causes a high pressure of burning gases, which forces closed fitting piston to move downward. The piston has gone upward. The piston has gone upward. It will come downward. It will come downward because of the pressure developed by burning gases. This moment of piston is transmitted to crankshaft by connecting rod so that the crankshaft turns a flywheel. You should not this is here actually flywheel is the component. It is not shown here, but the flywheel is the component. The moment of piston is transmitted to the crankshaft. This shaft is the crankshaft. See, this is a crankshaft. When the piston moves upward and downward, piston moves and upward downward inside the cylinder, it gives the motion, or it gives the motion to flywheel. It gives the motion to the flywheel, and it starts rotating. It starts rotating. To obtain continuous rotation of the crankshaft, this explosion has to be repeated. Means combustion of the fuel should be repeated inside the cylinder so that this crankshaft will be rotated. This crankshaft will be rotated continuously, and we can see this flywheel also will rotate continuously. The used gases have been exhausted from the cylinder. The gases are actually created because of the combustion of the air and fuel mixture, which applies the force on the piston, and the piston goes downward, it moves upward, and by some time what happens, the gas loses its energy. The gas loses its energy and it should be expelled out. So gas आता तो बाहेर आपण टाकून दिला पाहिजे. It should be given out through the exhaust valve. So what happens? This exhaust valve gets opened. This exhaust valve gets open, and through that the burned gases or the exhaust gases which has lost its power should be expelled out or given out through the cylinder. The used gases have to be exhausted from the cylinder. The fresh charge of fuel and air must be admitted, and the piston must be moved back to its starting position. Okay, so this is in general the working of heat engine or internal combustion engine. When we will see the working of four-stroke engine and working of two-stroke engine, in that I will again explain this principle of working. Okay, so engine converts. What happens? Engine converts reciprocating motion of the piston into rotary motion of the crankshaft by means of connecting rod. If you see the figure, the piston moves and upward and downward. The movement of the piston is upward and downward. Hello. So the piston moves upward and downward. So what happens in this? When the piston moves upward and downward, this motion is called as reciprocating motion. This reciprocating motion of the piston gets converted into the rotary motion of the crankshaft. The piston moves upward and downward inside the cylinder. That motion is called as a reciprocating motion, and that motion by with the help of this connecting rod, by the help of this connecting rod, that motion gets converted into the rotary motion. This crankshaft is rotating. This crankshaft gets rotating, and your what engine converts a reciprocating motion of the piston into rotary motion of the crankshaft by means of the connecting rod. Piston is closely fitted in cylinder. Rings are inserted in the circumferential grooves of the piston to prevent leakage of the gases. So leakage of the gases is not possible because see, these are the piston rings. These are the piston rings. These are the piston rings. That rings circumferential grooves of the piston to prevent leakage of the gas. Means maybe there is some gap between cylinder walls. These are the cylinder walls and the piston. So the gas should not be escaped. तर तो गॅस हा बाहेर नाही गेला पाहिजे याच्यामधून. तर त्याच्यासाठी काय असतं की त्याच्या ग्रुजला व्हॉट आर प्रेझेंट देअर, व्हॉट इज देअर, the rings are inserted in the circumferential grooves of the piston to prevent leakage of the gases. Combustion space is provided at the top of the cylinder. Here some space is provided at the top of the cylinder to prevent the leakage of the at the top of the head. Connecting rod. What is the function of connecting rod? It is the connection between piston and the cylinder head. Actually, you can see that this is the connecting rod is the connection between piston and the crankshaft. This is the piston and this is your crankshaft. Say this is the crankshaft. So what is the function of connecting rod? It connects the piston and the crankshaft. Piston and crankshaft are connected with each other by using connecting rod. There is being this is the big end, and one end will be the small end, and crank pin is provided. What is the function of crank pin? Crank pin is provided here to connect that connecting rod to the crankshaft. Flywheel is not shown here, but flywheel is at the end of the crankshaft. One end of the crankshaft flywheel is attached. What is the function of flywheel? It's smoothing the uneven torque. Flywheel, the function of flywheel is it smoothens the uneven torque. Oil sump is provided at the bottom of the lubricating oil of the lubrication system. This thing, oil sump, we'll see separately when we will study about lubricating system of the engine. There are two cycles of engine, four-stroke engine and two-stroke engine. Cycle means in four-stroke engine, the sequence of events or the cycle is completed in two revolution of the crankshaft. The revolution of the crankshaft will be two in four-stroke engine, and cycle in one stroke. This in two-stroke engine, the cycle is completed in one revolution of the crankshaft. Cycle is completed in one revolution of the crankshaft. Classification of IC engine in different ways according to the type of fuel used. It is petrol engine, diesel engine, gas engine. According to method of ignition, igniting the fuel, it is spark ignition engine. In short, it is SI engine. Compression engine, in short, it is called as CI engine. According to the number of sorry, according to the number of strokes per cycle, the engine is classified as four-stroke cycle engine, two-stroke cycle engine. According to the cycle of engine, in detail we will see it later. Auto cycle engine. Just see the classification. Diesel cycle engines. According to the speed of the engine, slow speed engine speed is below 350 rpm. Medium speed engine, its speed is 350 rpm to 1000 rpm. High speed engine speed is over 1000 rpm. According to the cooling system, there are air cooled engines and there are water cooled engines. So air cooled engines are used on motorcycles, scooters, small cars. Water cooled engines are used on trucks, tractors, and heavy vehicles. According to the number of cylinders, it is a single cylinder engine, multi cylinder engine. According to the arrangement of cylinders, horizontal engine, vertical engines. According to all arrangement, overhead all engines, side all engines. According to the piston movement, reciprocating piston moves in linear motion to produce the power, and rotary engines uses rotary design to convert pressure into rotational motion. Then there are two main engines we will study in this course: four-stroke engine operation and the two-stroke engine operation. Now we will see parts of IC engine, internal combustion engine. IC means internal combustion engine or components of internal combustion engine. Different components or parts of IC engine are we'll see some. It is described in the next slides. Cylinder block. माझं लेक्चर चालू आहे बरं का हो. एक तास तरी लागेल मला. ओके हो. Uh, Hello, just wait. Sorry for disturbance. Uh, we'll see the components of the engines. This is your cylinder block. This you can say this is the whole assembly is about the cylinder blocks. Okay, so this is the cylinder head. This component is a cylinder block or the cylinder head. This is the engine block. This is the engine block. Some gasket. This part is called as a gasket. I will post some videos on the Google Classroom and also show some videos while the lecture is going on in the next lecture so that you can understand the components and the working of the engine. So cylinder block is made from the cast iron. Cylinder block along with crankcase form the main body part of the engine. So I will also show you in next lecture some the small model of the engine, and from that you can understand different components of the engine. The block and the crankcase are usually are casted in a group to form a single casting of the cylinder provides the smooth cylinder which guides the piston. Crankcase supports the crankshaft and camshaft by there is also a camshaft by means of the bearings. Okay, in next slide, I will explain all this assembly. It also supports many components of the engine. In small engines, it also has water passage inside for cooling, but in large engines, separate engine or cylinder liners or sleeves are also used. So cylinder one by one we will see this is type of the cylinder or some figure about the cylinder. Cylinder is that part which converts the heat engine into mechanical energy or thermal energy into a mechanical energy with the help of piston. Piston is inside the cylinder. Its primary function is to contain the working fluid. A secondary function is to guide the piston. There are some cylinder liner, wet liner, and dry liner. Just wait, I will show you just the figure of engine. Just wait. Is it visible to you? Hello, श्री ठरले.
सर
Hello.
थोड़ा दूर रहा था, लांब रहा था.
Okay.
हो हो.
Okay. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay.
सर थोड़ा
Okay.
वरती.
Okay. Now.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is the cut section of four-stroke engine. Okay. It is a petrol engine. Okay. In that, this is the cut model actually. Cut model. Am I audible? My voice is audible or not?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay. So this is the cut section. This part is actually your cylinder. This is the cut actually. This is the cut model. So whatever may be, okay, this whatever may be the fall now. Just this. हा जो component जो आहे, this component is actually your piston, which moves up and down. The cylinder moves up and down. This part is piston actually, which is moving inside the cylinder. Again, you see this component. This component is a connecting rod. Connecting rod. And say this component is a flywheel. Just assume this component is a flywheel. This component is a timing gear. Then there are two valves. See, there are two valves. One valve is inlet valve. One valve is called as the inlet valve, and the second valve is the exhaust valve. Okay, and one passage is this part is the carburetor. This part is a maybe a carburetor. Okay, carburetor, where air and fuel mixture is mixed. The mixture of air and fuel mixture means petrol and air is mixed inside the carburetor, and then it is supplied to the engine. Engine means cylinder. Okay. In that we will see just the components. This is your crankshaft. Say this is your crankshaft. This is the crankshaft. This is connecting rod. This is flywheel. This is inlet valve. This is exhaust valve. This whole assembly is called as a cylinder. This is which is going upward and downward, which is a piston. This is a connecting rod. This is a flywheel. This is the timing gear. Okay, timing gear. So, and one component is also there. Say this is a spark plug. Spark plug. This is called as a spark plug. Okay, spark plug is provided in the petrol engine. Now again, I will present you the screen so that you can understand the components. Just wait, I will present the screen again. Just wait, we will start the sharing again. Okay, so you can see the screen now. There are cylinder liner is there. There are two types of liners, wet liner and the dry liner. So what is the function of wet liner? Why wet liner is provided? It is directly in contact with the water, hence it is named as a wet liner. Wet liner forms complete cylinder. It is provided with a flange at the top to fit in the groove of the cylinder block. In bottom of the liner, the groove is provided for a rubber ring for sealing outer link. I will provide its video so that you can understand where these parts are located. It is difficult to replace, but casting is comparatively easy. Crankcase or combustion chamber dilution is possible due to leakage of water if casting is defective. Triliner is made in the shape of a barrel having a flange at the top which keeps the position into cylinder block. It is not necessary to uh, means remember what is the wet liner and dry liner because they are very minor components. This type of liner is inserted in the on cylinder bore after machining. It does not come in contact with the cooling water, hence it is known as a dry liner. It is easy to replace, but casting is complicated. Crankcase or combustion chamber dilution is not possible due to leakage of the water. So, see, these are the main components like cylinder head. This component is a cylinder head. These are actually inlet walls and the exhaust walls. This is the cylinder head, which is made from the cast iron or aluminum alloy in some cases. Function of the cylinder head, it carries inlet and exhaust valve. Okay, there are inlet and exhaust valves. In case of petrol engine, a spark plug is provided, and in a diesel engine, fuel injector. Spark plug is not present in diesel engine. Fuel injector is provided in the diesel engine. So this is the figure of cylinder head. The piston already I have shown you. It's cut model. So piston actually this is the piston. It is made from cast iron or aluminum alloy. Say this component is or this component is called as a this is called as a connecting rod. What is the function of connecting rod? It is the connection between piston and the crankshaft. This is the crankshaft. Crankshaft is connected to the piston by means of the connecting rod. It is the first part to begin movement and transmit power as a result of generation of high pressure and energy by combustion of the fuel. So the piston moves upward and downward. The movement of the piston is upward and downward inside the cylinder. During suction stroke is also called as a intake stroke. It sucks fresh charge. It may be air or it may be a fuel or air plus fuel mixture. Air plus fuel mixture is taken inside the cylinder through inlet wall and compresses during the compression stroke inside the cylinder. Just see, receives power from the expanding gases after ignition in the cylinder and forces the burnt exhaust gases out of the cylinder. Okay, when we will see two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine, I will again explain all these things. Just now, you should understand this component is the piston, which makes upward and downward movement, which is also known as a reciprocating movement inside the cylinder. Piston ring, it is made from a cast iron. Piston ring is made from a cast iron. The function of a compression rings is to retain compression in the cylinder and to reduce cylinder piston contacted area, to reduce the friction loss. This is the main function, to reduce the friction between piston and the cylinder. Piston rings are provided. This type of piston rings are provided, which actually reduces the piston rings are provided, which reduces the friction between cylinder wall and the piston. Depending on function and location on the piston, there are two types of piston ring: compression rings and the oil rings. Okay. So piston, the function of piston ring is to reduce the friction between. It increases the contact, or it reduces the contact area, so that it reduces the friction between piston and the cylinder, and it reduces the wear and tear loss. Then connecting rod. I have already told you that this is the connecting rod which connects the piston and the crankshaft. It changes reciprocating motion of the piston into rotary motion of the crankshaft. Means there is a reciprocating motion of the piston, means upward and downward movement of the piston, and it gets converted into rotary motion of the crankshaft by using the connecting rod. Connecting rod transmits the power produced at the piston to crankshaft. It has two ends, a small end and the big end. So this is the big end, and here it will be the small end. The end connection connecting piston pin is called small, and the other connecting crank pin is called is a this is the big end. Big end is divided into two holes connected by the nut and bolt. See, this is the big end is connected by nut and the bolts. Gajan pin or the piston pin. Such type of the pins are called as a gajan pin, wrist pin, or piston pin. What is the function of that? I will again show you. See here. This part is called as a gajan pin or the piston pin. The piston and the connecting rod. The piston and connecting rod gets connected with the help of gajan pin. This connecting rod and this piston is get connected because of the gajan pin or the wrist pin. See, this is the gajan pin or the wrist pin. It also called as a wrist pin. It connects the piston with the small end of the connecting rod. So it connects the piston with the connecting rod. It is available in three types. Okay, this is not necessary. Full floating type, semi floating type, fixed type. This much details are not necessary. You should just know what is the function of gajan pin and where it is located, or it is also known as the piston pin. Again, connecting rod, piston, and the pin. So see this assembly. See, this is the piston. This is the piston pin or gajan pin or wrist pin. This is the connecting rod. Okay, this is the bearing insert, and this is your connecting cap. Uh, by this assembly, or by using this connecting rod gets connected to crankshaft. Crankshaft. Okay, crank pin is there. It hands over the power and motion of the crankshaft, which comes from piston through the connecting rod. This is your crankshaft. This is the crankshaft. Such type of arrangement is a crankshaft. It is the backbone of the engine. It receives oscillating motion from connecting rod. Oscillating, which is also known as a reciprocating motion. Oscillating motion. It gets from It receives oscillating motion from the connecting rod and gives the rotary motion to the main shaft. Main shaft means this is the crankshaft. It drives the camshaft. Okay, if you see the figure, just see the figure. There are four cylinders, and there are four pistons. Then the movement of the piston will be upward and downward. The movement of the piston will be upward and downward. This shaft is called as a crankshaft. This is your flywheel. And after flywheel, there is a crankshaft. There are two shafts. See, this is a crankshaft. This is a camshaft. This is a crankshaft. This is a camshaft. What happens because of the upward and downward movement or oscillating motion of this piston? This oscillating motion or reciprocating motion gets converted into the rotary motion of the crankshaft because of the connecting rod. And then this motion is received by the flywheel, and flywheel stores that energy, and then it is given to the crankshaft. That motion then given to the crankshaft. It also drives crankshaft, which actuate the walls of the engine. Actuate means closing and opening of the inlet and exhaust valve. Closing and opening of the inlet and exhaust valve takes place with the help of crankshaft motion. Then we will see camshaft. So, such type of rods are the camshaft. It operates inlet valve as well as exhaust valve. What is the function of camshaft? It operates the inlet and exhaust valve with the help of cam followers, push rod, and rocker arms. Okay, so in this figure, it is not visible that where cam followers are there or push rod or rocker arms. I will send you the video. From that, you can understand how the closing and opening of the inlet all and the exhaust all takes place. So the flywheel we have seen in the previous slide. The flywheel, it is bolted to the rear end of the crankshaft to store energy. What is the function of flywheel? It stores the energy received in the power stroke and keeps the crankshaft rotating in the idle strokes. Its size depends on the number of cylinders. If there are 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, then the size of the flywheel will increase. Type of engine, size of the engine. It is connected to the self started by a ring gear for cracking. It helps in balancing rotating masses. Inlet and exhaust valve. Such type of valves are used for inlet and exhaust valve have different functions, and the material is also used different. The exhaust valve run hotter than the inlet valve and must withstand high stresses and the pressure. Inlet valve has made from these materials. It allows the fresh charge or air fuel mixture to enter the cylinder bore. And exhaust valve, actually, what is the function of exhaust valve? From the exhaust valve, the exhaust gases or the burnt gases are expelled out, expelled out or given out or escaped from the cylinder bore at the proper time. At the proper time, the exhaust valve gets open, and this inlet valve and exhaust valve are open and closed at right time with the help of cam followers, push rods, or camshaft, etc. Then there are some other components like cylinder head gasket. See, this is the cylinder head gasket. It seals the combustion chamber and is fitted over the cylinder block under combustion head. Governor is also there, which controls in diesel engine. It controls the speed of engine at different load by regulating fuel supply. In petrol engine, it controls the speed of engine at different load. The same function is there. Carburetor is also one component. It converts petrol in a fine spray and mixes with air in proper ratio as per the requirement of the engine. So what is the main function of in short, you can understand governor controls the speed of engine. What is the function of carburetor? In carburetor there is mixture of petrol and air. The mixture of petrol and air takes place inside the carburetor. This process is also called as a carburation. So what is the function of carburetor? Carburetor convert the mixture of petrol and air. The mixture of petrol and air, or the mixture of fuel and air, takes place inside the carburetor in right proportion, and that process is called as a carburation. That process is called as a carburation. There are fuel pump is also there, supplies fuel to the carburetor sucking from the fuel tank. Spark plug is also provided only in the petrol engine. To ignite the charge of the fuel for combustion, fuel injector is provided in diesel engine only and delivers fuel in fine spray under pressure. We'll see all these components later on while studying four-stroke engine and the two-stroke engine. Thank you. Just wait. Hello. Now I will take the attendance. Your attendance. Now tell me if you have any difficulty. Just ask me difficulty. Do you understand Mrunal Deshmukh, Komal Pawar, Turle, Raj Deshmukh? You can unmute yourself and ask me or write in chat box. Just write in chat box. Have you understand or not? Just tell me. Yeah, yeah. Mrunal Deshmukh. Ask me. Raj Deshmukh, Ravi Pingle. Yeah. It is quite a little bit difficult, okay, but I will make it easy by posting some videos and all that and showing some models while explaining these things. Okay. Other Ravi Pingle, do you understand? Hello. Okay, 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 okay. Check. Do you understand all these things? Yeah, yeah. I will explain. I will share. I will share the PPT and the PDF file also, the notes and the videos and all that material. And after okay, Swapnil, okay, after watching all these videos and just reading and studying this, okay, Jayasri, Pranika, then Ketan, okay. So after reading all this PPT and PDF file and watching the videos, you can understand completely the components, different components, just the different components of the IC engine or internal combustion engine. And then we will have 10 marks quiz. You have to solve it. Okay. Later on, just after 3 days. Okay, I will post all these material today. I will post all these material today. You don't have the lecture today. I know that you are free today, so just study the video engine components from the videos and the material like PPT and all that. I will post it and so that you can understand all that. And then I will post the quiz. Okay, so you can leave the class now. No problem. The lecture is over. You can leave the class. No problem. Okay, Gangurde, just listen. If you are there, what is the function of spark plug? Spark plug provides the sparks. आपण त्याला मराठीत ठिणगी म्हणतो. In petrol engine. Uh, After compression of air and fuel mixture, you will understand all this when I will explain. There is separate topic on petrol engine and diesel engine. Spark plug is in petrol engine. And what is the function of fuel injector? Fuel injector actually injects the fuel. Fuel means diesel engine. In diesel engine, uh, diesel is the fuel and which is injected with the help of fuel injector into the combustion chamber. Combustion chamber means the cylinder. And the function of spark plug is it provides the sparks in case of petrol engine. I will explain all this while there is topic of four-stroke engine and two-stroke engine and petrol engine and the diesel engine. So, uh, You can leave the meeting. All of you can leave the meeting.
सर
Oh,
आय हॅव वन क्वेश्चन.
yeah.
सर टॉपिकवर या म्हणजे कसा क्वेश्चन असेल याच्यामध्ये फक्त फंक्शन्स वगैरे असतील ना सगळे.
हो, येस. ओन्ली फंक्शन. म्हणजे याच्यावर हा क्वेश्चन कसा असेल इंजिन कंपोनंट्स.
हा
हा एक आता हा जो आहे कशाचा टॉपिक आहे हा प्रॅक्टिकलचा टॉपिक आहे. थेरीला पण विचारतात समजा, पण क्वेश्चन कसा असेल व्हॉट आर इनलिस्ट डिफरंट कंपोनंट्स ऑफ आयसी इंजिन अँड राईट ॲट लिस्ट वन फंक्शन. आता समजा
येस.
तुम्ही सिलेंडर, पिस्टन, कनेक्टिंग रॉड, कॅम्पशाफ्ट, क्रँकशाफ्ट, ओके, इनलेट वॉल, एक्झॉस्ट वॉल, स्पार्क प्लग, ओके, तर असं ते करू शकता. बरोबर की नाही? असं ते
हो.
करू शकता आणि मग त्याचं एक फंक्शन लिहायचंय फक्त आपल्याला. बाकीचं काय पूर्ण एखादा समजा तुम्हाला काय असं कॅम्पशाफ्टवर राईट शॉर्ट नोट असं नसतं. तुम्हाला ओव्हरऑल कंपोनंट्स हे करायचे असतात.
हा
ओके.
ओव्हरऑल.
आणि
ओके.
त्याचं एखादं फंक्शन आणि समजा आता आपण जर हे जर घेतलं म्हणजे बाय ऑनलाईन पण एक्झाम समजा घेतली तुमची आयडेंटिफिकेशनला समजा मी कॅम्पशाफ्टची फिगर टाकली तर तुम्हाला ते आयडेंटिफाय करायचे की हा कॅम्पशाफ्ट आहे आणि मग त्याचं एक फंक्शन लिहायचं असतं. आणि समजा ऑफलाईन जरी झाली तर आयडेंटिफिकेशनला ते कंपोनंट्स आपण ठेवलेले असतात वेगवेगळे. कॅम्पशाफ्ट असतो, क्रँकशाफ्ट असतो, पिस्टन असतो, फ्लाय व्हील असतं, असे कंपोनंट ठेवलेले असतात आणि यू हॅव टू आयडेंटिफाय अँड राईट द फंक्शन फॉर
हो.
प्रॅक्टिकल.
ओके सर. ओके. थँक्यू सर.
ओके.